Us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know. In the year 2000, I was taken to Jeffrey Epstein's island while on a photo shoot on a nearby island. Who I saw and what I experienced there was a glimpse into a very dark and disturbing world. For years after, I tried to avoid Jeffrey. Epstein's reach went to the very top of fashion, arts, and entertainment. This did not just happen to underage girls in Florida. In New York City, hundreds of young, ambitious women were abused by him.
Okay, lovelies, how are you all doing? Welcome back again to my channel. In case you're just coming across my video for the first time, hi, how are you? My name is Olivia. So guys, today's episode I want to talk about the Epstein file. It has been trending recently on the internet, and the survivors have come out to say that if they're not ready to release the Epstein file, that the survivors, will come together and list the names out, protect themselves if the government is not ready to protect them. And you guys know what that means. That's huge. Okay, and a lot of people are going crazy. People are like, yes, list the files out, like we can't wait, we want to know all the names of the people who are involved. Yes, and this has been trending since. People are so eager to know whose name is on that list. Okay, so let's keep watching, guys. We have more to say. And please let me know what you think in the comment section. Are you standing with the survivors to list the names out? Or are you waiting for the government to list the names out? Like, let me know what you guys think, okay? And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and support the channel by subscribing to the channel.
Ladies, print the list. Print the list, double-sided, perforated edges, print the list. Make the copies, send them out, laminate them, print the list. You have the list, I need you to print the list. Your abusers have had control this whole entire time, and enough is enough. They have no intentions of sharing the list. You have the list, you have the power. Print the list. The default is waiting for permission to be able to say how you were abused, when you were abused, and who abused you collectively. They have the names. The experiences are consistent. Their voices, though they shake, they do not stutter. They know exactly who is on the list, and they are vowing to share the list. Ladies, it is time. Head over to Kinko's, head over to Staples, head over to anywhere that can print the list. Print the list, bound the list, distribute the list. Because it has been far too long, and you've had to be far too strong as they all walk free. Whoever is on the list, it does not matter. It is your turn, ladies. Print the list.
I know I'm on a rampage today, but this shit is out of control, okay? So, a video of one of the women who spoke out, who is an Epstein survivor, said that she got on a plane and one of the people on the plane was Bill Clinton. Good. As a reluctant registered Democrat, good. Call them out. Every single one of them. That is the difference between the people who are these crazy cult followers. I'm not anyone's cult member. I'm only a cult member to the people who live in my house and the people that I actually reproduce myself. That is it. Anybody who is in those files needs to be held accountable. I don't care what political party they are from. I don't care how much money they have. I could give two fucks. Okay? So, release the files, call them all out, hold them all accountable. I don't care how old they are. I don't care how young they are. I don't care about their bank account. And this is why I tell you, if this video shows up on your page and you are someone who thinks poorly of themselves because maybe you think that because you don't have a college degree or your English isn't so good, let me tell you something, okay? The rich and the wealthy, the people with multiple degrees, they can be the biggest pieces of shit you've ever encountered. So don't ever look at someone that they are better than you, because they are not. I can assure you. So it doesn't matter what political party they are from. They need to be held accountable for the abuse of women.
The part that might be the worst for Donald Trump and his allies of yesterday's press conference involving Jeffrey Epstein's victims is that they have their own list. I spoke about this yesterday on the bonus show with producer Pat. And what I said is FOIA requests, grand jury testimony, sealing, unsealing, whatever. The victims have the list. They can say, I was victimized by the following people. Here is a bit of yesterday's press conference about exactly that.
And also, I would like to announce here today, us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know who were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details.
In other words, this is a disaster for Donald Trump. Forget waiting for courts. Forget playing a part or standing aside as the dog and pony show of Trump directing Pam Bondi to release pertinent parts of grand jury testimony. Forget about that. Forget about FOIA requests. Forget about waiting for Trump's Justice Department to misplace the documents. You know, we thought we had some documents. We can't find them. The dog ate them. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Forget about it. The people who were there and saw the parties, they were on the flights, some of them, they saw the visitors come through. They will be putting together their own list without a government gatekeeper, getting around the people who have every incentive to keep the big names secret. Now think about what that means. It is not just about the official paper trail anymore. For very long, this was about who has the documents. Pam Bondi's got them on her desk. Is she going to get rid of them? And for too long, it was about attempts to distract. Tariffs this, Iran that, Trump's hands this. And I'm not saying every attempt to distract is about an illegitimate topic. I'm not saying every attempt to distract is deliberate by Trump. But what I mean is, as the Epstein files continue not to come out, the news continues and people get distracted. They're distracted by other stories and they get back to their own lives. If you're working and trying to put food in your fridge in Saginaw, Michigan, you're not necessarily breathlessly waiting for the Epstein files. But that doesn't mean that transparency about the president's potential involvement with the child sex trafficking ring isn't important. So we don't know whether the list they are compiling will be public. We don't know, by the way, I hope that none of these women end up accidentally falling out of their windows multiple times, right? You understand what I'm saying. I don't know if it will be made public or if it won't. I don't know if there will be some legal mechanism employed to attempt to suppress this. But even the threat that the list could be compiled outside of Donald Trump's control is a nightmare for anyone who thought that they could bury the story.
Apparently somebody at the Department of Justice got caught on a hot mic saying that they're going to cut all of the Republican names out of the Epstein list. I'm not giving this the full treatment because I haven't seen any official articles yet. Listen, never voted Republican in a single election. I don't plan to now either. But if you have, you have to kind of assume that it's all of them if they won't give up who it is. You know what I mean? You kind of have to assume that they're all on the list in the world where a few protect the group that are. Do you know what I mean? I would think that this would be a situation where the greater good, not just of the party, but of humans, would outweigh the interests of a select few in that group, unless that select few is extremely important, right? Maybe they're just one of the most important key players. And I can't think of a Republican player more key to the American government than the president himself. It's going to be an interesting few days. I'm going to just say it like that.
Hey, Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. You know, you guys don't have to give us that Epstein client list. Yeah, you've had plenty of time, but we're going to get our own list. We're going to actually get it from the victims. The Jeffrey Epstein victims are going to compile the list, the client list. Yeah, and we'll match that up with whatever files you give us. But thanks for being so evasive. Like, what do you all have to hide? Like, if somebody accuses you of something and you haven't done it, and we know there's a list, you would think you'd just spew it right out. But anyway, the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, we all know who they are now, and they were very brave, and there they are on camera. Yeah, they're going to compile the list for all of us to see. And then, then watch, you'll scramble around and you'll come out with the list because you'll want to look like you're on the right side of history, which you are not. So please, ladies, let's get that list. Let's get that list going. And Cash and Pam, you can go off and keep doing nothing.
Okay, here's the thing with the Epstein survivors who came forward yesterday. They're like, okay, we're going to compile our list and we're going to release it ourselves. Fantastic, yes. But one, why didn't you release any of the names yesterday? And two, like, how are we supposed to know that this list is legitimate? Like, people lie. So here's the thing. If there's a way to prove 100% that the list that they release is legitimate, then fine. I don't care whose name is on it. It could literally be Trump. It could be my favorite, like, actor or actress. It could be anyone. I don't care. Those people should be held accountable. If there is a way to verify that the list is 100% legitimate, but there will not be a way. So I would just say, take their list with like a grain of salt. You can't trust it. And if you think you can trust it, like, I'm sorry, come on, like, that's just silly.
Hey, quick question. Why did Trump campaign on releasing the Epstein files, literally promising this over and over, all throughout his campaign, only to turn around and today call it a hoax? MAGA, check in with us. Explain this. We want to understand. One of the major reasons you were supporting him is because you were like, he's going to release the Epstein files. We're going to get the names of all of these Democrats and Hollywood people. But now it's a hoax. Does that not seem suspicious to you? Like, do you not look at that and go, okay, hang on. He, for years leading up to his campaign, to his election, promise, time and time again, he's going to release the Epstein files. And now it's a hoax. I guess I need to stop being amazed by how MAGA is just willing to swallow whatever he puts out whole, without any critical thinking, without any questioning. If you are someone who can actually question this, I want to hear from you. What do you think about this? It's just so dumb.
Michael Jackson was on those Epstein files. I'm going to post it right here, but literally they dropped it and they're censoring it from the For You page. That's why we haven't heard it. And the news not going to cover it because they're paid by the government to keep things hush-hush. But now the files have been dropped. I wonder what y'all going to do with this list. And if you don't believe that that is the list, go look it up, okay? I'm so tired of y'all talking a big game about how y'all are tired of paying all these taxes for them to spend it on Israel and all their bullshit. Because how the hell is politicians making $40 million a damn year? Tax money. So I'm going to go ahead and start a GoFundMe and see if we can get a lawyer to go against this damn government, because I'm tired of kids being hurt. I'm tired of our tax money taken away for Israel to get their financial future taken care of, because the citizens of America don't matter. And I'm so tired of the fact that we keep suffering and there's more homeless people and people that's getting trafficked and kidnapped by the U.S. government, and it's getting covered up by the police officers that we see every day. But are y'all going to do anything? No. Are you going to do anything? Let's see if you'll donate. Let's see if you'll donate. You'll spend money on bullshit all day, but let's see if you'll donate to help your future.
So apparently a GOP representative said that they would read, and I'm talking about the House members, the members of Congress, are saying that they're going to take a list from the Epstein victims and read it on the House floor because they can't be sued like the victims can. Girl. And then it was the GOP. So I'm like, which part of the GOP? Is this the part of y'all that thinks that oh boy is not in the files, even though he's in a picture in a man's house on his desk? Girl, I don't know what's gonna happen, but this last season of The End of America, the reboot, girl, it is very entertaining. If for nothing, entertaining.
I voted for him. I voted for Trump. And for him to say what he's saying is beyond me, because I put my hope in him and he's supposed to protect us. And for him to say that this is a joke and that it's sides, this is not sides. We will say it time and time again. None of us are up there accusing him of anything. There is no one that is accusing him of any wrongdoing. So for the fact that he is saying those things and saying it's a hoax, who are you hiding for then? Because if it's not you, then who is it? And that scares me. Who is it?
So I just had a very weird, unusual experience. We were standing in front of the Longworth building, one of the House office buildings, and I noticed this woman in the corner was not doing okay. And someone walked by and said, "That's Nancy Mace. I think she's having a panic attack." And sure enough, I went and I kind of looked, and I had my camera up a little bit. I got out of the corner of the camera, and then she came out and she said, "Please, will you please just respect my privacy?" And guess what? I'm going to respect her privacy, but I will tell you that she was upset, she said, because of the Epstein victims, and she said just listening to them, she said it's overwhelming as someone who has been a victim or a survivor of sexual abuse. And I said to her, I am also a survivor. Transparency is important. I don't think people should have any sort of feel in a certain kind of way because you had a panic attack about it. It's kind of happens. That happens. And so she just said, please respect my privacy, and who's going to fight for us. And she wants the Epstein files released. And she says, I'm on the bill. I'm on the record saying that she wants the Epstein files released. And then she said, just please respect my privacy. And then she got in her car right here and drove away. So I'm going to respect her privacy. But yeah, Nancy Mace, I saw her right there in the corner having a panic attack. She told me it was because of the listening to the Epstein victims. That was it.
Now you can see here Rep. Nancy Mace walking out of the meeting with the Epstein survivors. I mean, she genuinely looked upset. I'm not trying to minimize that. I'm sure hearing the stories of these now grown women talking about what happened to them when they were just girls was quite upsetting. But in true Nancy Mace style, it didn't take long for her to respond to our reaction. Nancy Mace said, since it's already being reported, yes, I left the oversight briefing with Epstein victims early. As a recent survivor, not 2 years in, I had a very difficult time listening to their stories. Full-blown panic attack, sweating, hyperventilating, shaking, I can't breathe. Wow, that sounds terrible. I feel the immense pain of how hard all victims are fighting for themselves because we know absolutely no one will fight for us. God bless all survivors. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I personally have a really difficult time believing anybody who claims to be a victim like Nancy Mace when they voted for, work for, and support a literal adjudicated abuser and accused P to the O. And, you know, just a reminder, I actually have receipts. So just remember, they're going to tell you that the E. Jean Carroll jury said, no, it wasn't the R word. But then the next question they answered yes to. So can you just ask them what the difference between number 2 and number 1 is for me? Thanks. So just to be clear, I really make a habit out of believing victims and women when they come forward. But I really, really struggle to believe a woman when they literally are looking down on other victims. You know, and you couldn't even muster up the strength to sit through those women's stories. You should have sat there. And the reason you should have sat there, Nancy, is because you're part of the reason that they aren't getting the accountability and the closure that they want. Because you're supporting the person that is either withholding or really cleansing the files. So you know, I'm sorry, you're crying because you know that you're part of the problem. You're crying because you know that you're covering up for the person that is doing the things to the women that you just heard their stories. That's why you're upset. That's why you're crying. And now you're trying to throw the victim card not even an hour later. So, typical Nancy Mace. So, as always, much love, keep fighting, and I'll see y'all at work.
Nancy Mace is like the epitome of white woman. And then the tears yesterday. Because, like, it has to be about her. She has to be front and center. There were too many victims in there. Nancy Mace needed to be the top victim. I don't give a fuck if that sounds mean, because Nancy Mace has been a disgusting troll to the trans population of this country. And she hasn't just been carrying water for the patriarchy and white supremacy. She cleaned its feet and anointed it with oil.
Get back in that fucking room! You're a fucking elected official. Wipe your fucking tears off your face, sit down, shut up, and listen. You don't get a fucking choice. Fuck your panic attack. You voted to keep those files locked the fuck up. The least you could do is sit there and listen to them tell you what you defend. You fucking cunt. This video of her having a panic attack fills me with fucking joy. And then she has the fucking audacity to post this. Since it's already being reported, yes, I left the oversight briefing with Epstein victims early. As a recent survivor, not 2 years in, I had a very difficult time listening to their stories. Full-blown panic attack, sweating, hyperventilating, shaking, I can't breathe. I feel the immense pain of how hard all victims are fighting for themselves, because we know absolutely no one will fight for us. God bless all survivors. Oh, we know absolutely no one will fight for us? You mean like you? You fucking hellspawn demon cunt? You voted to keep the files locked up! Who the fuck are these crocodile tears for? I think I know. I think they're for yourself. I think this panic attack isn't about what happened to these women. It's about you coming to the realization that you are on the side of the abuser. Your job is to defend the President of the United States, who's on every last fucking page of this list. And then the House Oversight Committee releases 33,000 pages of the Epstein files that were already fucking released. No new information on it. Here, guys, here's the Epstein list. Motherfucker, I've seen this before. I've seen this before.
So Representative Nancy Mace went and met with women who were telling their horror stories of their essay encounters with Epstein. And she said listening to the stories almost threw her into a full-blown panic attack. She later went on to make a post on X saying how she felt the immeasurable pain of these women. She went on to talk about how hard they're fighting for themselves, because nobody's going to fight for us. She even threw in a God bless all these women, you know, because she's a good, upstanding Christian woman. Less than 48 hours of meeting with those women and making that post, she was defending Trump, calling the Epstein's list a Democratic hoax. Can you imagine, as a woman, finally working up the courage to tell your story of having been essayed to another woman while she sits there and strokes your hair and holds your hand and tells you, I'm with you, only for her to turn around and say, yeah, these hoes lying. I used to think that a lot of white women were just too afraid to fight against that boot on their neck. But day by day, I'm genuinely starting to believe that you bitches love the feel of that boot of white male patriarchy crushing your necks.
This is Representative Nancy Mace, a Republican congresswoman from South Carolina and a survivor herself, walking out of the Epstein briefing visibly shaken. And this is how the tables get turned. This is how we fight back. For once, it isn't about politics. It's about human beings, about women demanding justice for victims after we've been silenced for decades. Because let's be honest, women are the one who are going to most likely sympathize with the survivors. And we need women, even the ones across the aisle, to stand up and see what is happening and demand the answers that we deserve. I cannot imagine what Nancy Mace and the rest of the representatives heard in that room, but I know this: we all need to be raising our voices and demand every single file get released. No more protecting predators. I do not care if it's the president. I don't care if it's Obama. I don't care if it's your favorite celebrity. Lock them all up. And I also just want to quickly mention that men in the comments of the video of the representative breaking down, they mocked her, laughed. They treated it like it was a joke. But women on both sides offered comfort and support. Like I said, a major empathy gap in this country. I have been saying it. We all need to sympathize, empathize, and understand where these survivors are coming from and demand answers on behalf of them.
Nancy Mace said that one of her favorite things to do is go on YouTube and watch videos of immigrants being drug out of court hearings. You know, immigrants trying to come here legally.
New sheriff in town, I have to tell you, one of my favorite things to watch on YouTube these days are the court hearings where illegals are in court and ICE shows up to drag them out of court and deport them. I can think of nothing more American today than keeping our...
Yeah, that's right. She can think of nothing more American than ICE breaking into court hearings and dragging out immigrants trying to come here legally. These are human beings that we're talking about here, fleeing violence, trying to seek asylum. Some of them are even children. And instead of compassion or due process, Nancy Mace is getting enjoyment from their suffering. Whatever happened to being the party of law and order? These immigrants are trying to come here legally, but they still want them to be deported. They support cruelty, and deep down inside, we all know they're white nationalists. And it's crazy how they claim to be the party of family values, yet they're celebrating when families get torn apart. And saying this on Fox News, where the whole point is to dehumanize immigrants for views, makes it even worse.
Oh, Nancy Mace Pepper Face. Was it hearing from the actual victims that made you so upset? Because since you've been in office, I have not seen any type of sympathy or empathy from you. You've always presented as like a strong woman. What happened? Was it hearing from the actual victims that made you actually upset? Because the little Meryl Streep show that you gave, I'm so filled with emotions. I can't bear this. I can't breathe. What was it? This the same lady that told Jasmine Crockett to meet her outside. What was it? Anyways, yeah, Nancy, go take some acting classes because that wasn't it. And your little white tears aren't doing it for me.
A trans person's existence. If somebody really wants to do harm to women and girls, they just do it. But for her, it's easier to have a scapegoat than to acknowledge the truth. And the truth is, ain't no monsters hiding under the bed. They're in Congress with you, Nancy. And you know that. That's why you had a panic attack. Because you know this shit all too well. And then you voted against the release of the files. A betrayal to your fellow survivors. I hope the piece of the pie is great.
The survivors said that they had decided to compile their own list, but the reality is if they try to release that list, they're going to be sued into homelessness. They will be attacked. They will have death threats. And so what my colleague Marjorie Taylor Greene volunteered to do, and I've volunteered to do as well, is to read that list on the floor of the House of Representatives, because our founders put into the Constitution speech or debate immunity, which says that we can't be prosecuted for what we say on the floor of the House. So we're willing to help those survivors get those names out there.